A passionate campaigner in the fight against AIDS. Very good morning to you. Thank you for coming in and talking to us this morning. And as you've said in the past, the statistics surrounding AIDS, HIV are numbing, aren't they? How did you get involved in this?
They are numbing, and I think I was on a list of people who were numbed by them for a long time. I had done some work for a few different organisations based in Los Angeles and South Africa, and I was asked to speak at a conference that took place in London a couple of weeks ago that was about Western apathy towards AIDS in Africa. And during the research that I was doing, all of a sudden, for the very first time, I became struck and hit by those statistics and realised the importance of world attention today on this issue and this pandemic.
I mean, as you said, just looking at statistics, 5 Africans die every minute. A third of people in the country like Botswana are living with HIV.
Yes.
I mean, as you said, they're just such overwhelming statistics. What have you been able to do since you've got involved?
I can only do what it's very small what I'm able to do. I've been trying to speak out publicly as much as possible about the importance of wealthy governments in wealthy countries to put attention and specifically funds towards this issue. There has been a turnaround. Hopefully Hilary Benn just spoke over the last couple of days about the policy change which hopefully will take place in the UK in siphoning funds more towards treatment than prevention. Prevention being as important, but I think treatment will be a more active way for us to be involved. And the need for funds specifically to go towards treatment is incredible.
You've just touched on the main issues, really, isn't it? Is that big argument about whether or not the money should be spent on education or whether or not it should be spent on actual sort of preventative measures and cure?
Yes, well, there is the Global Fund, which is an incredible fund which is set up so that the money can go into the Global Fund from the wealthy countries of the world and then be siphoned out towards the individual countries from there, so that money isn't going directly from one government to another government, but that it can be watched over and make sure that that it goes to the right places within organisations that can either educate or put the money towards where it's most needed.
So here we are today, World AIDS Day. It's all about raising awareness, getting people involved. Clearly you're doing your bit. What can people at home do if they really want to help, if they want to just help that little bit from afar?
Well, it depends where you're living. There are groups within Southern Africa, like Treatment Action Campaign, that people can get involved in. But South Africa and other countries in Africa are actually doing very well and being incredibly proactive because they're in the midst of where this need lies. In the West, we can continue to ask, in England, to write to the MPs and implore them to really make this a primary focus for all of us in a financial way, so that it's new money from the Treasury going towards this cause. And it's about the percentage of global wealth, and it is completely affordable for England to be putting £1 billion a year, not a one-off donation, but £1 billion a year towards this cause.
We've heard that story at the introduction to you about Celindi Lee, the 13-year-old who's looking after her 3 children and lost her parents. Is there one particular story that has struck you that's really inspired your involvement in all of this? I
don't know about one particular story, but the fact that it's affecting people within the prime of their lives, and in the prime of their lives in developing countries, and that means that it affects the agricultural sector and the educational sector, and it affects so much of these countries that are trying so hard to develop as it is, that the children, such as this 13-year-old, is being asked to care for sick parents and children, and how are they going to be able to then learn how to grow crops in order to help to make their individual country more able to communicate with the rest of the world in the way that the rest of the world can communicate, which is through trade and development. So it's a no-win situation, but we're in a position right now where we can do what's right because we have the funds to do it, and we need to.
Thank you very much indeed for coming and talking to us, and I know it's hard for you because you've got so much going on. You're writing and all sorts of things at the moment, so it's wonderful that you can get involved in such a campaign. Thank you very much. No, not at all. Thanks.
8:24 and